Back again, YouTube. Hope y'all are doing great. Today we are changing out the thermostat on the Raptor. We got an SPD Performance 170 degree thermostat. Now, what does a thermostat do? It's exactly what it sounds like, controls temperature. Just like your thermostat in your house, you set it to a certain degrees and it electronically kicks on to turn on the hot or cold air in your home. Now, this case, this is a mechanical device, not an electrical, set at 170 degrees Fahrenheit. So, there's a mechanical device in here that heats up with engine coolant fluid, and once it hits 170 degrees, this device will close and allow coolant to flow up through our radiator, which is back behind the intercooler. And the coolant will run through the intercooler, cool down, go back into our motor, so we are not running at hot temperatures. I did go with the 170 degree SPD thermostat because my Raptor is not stock. Now, if you have a stock Raptor and you treat it not like I treat mine, you'll probably be fine with the stock one. Ford engineers know what they're doing. Some people claim that, oh, they run too hot from the factory, this, that. This is Ford Performance team. They have a team of elite engineers. They know what they're doing. Okay, they've been doing Ford Performance since I don't even know when the first Raptor came out, 2011, 2012. All right. These guys know what they're doing. Okay, I went with the SPD Performance thermostat because I'm running a tune. I am pushing this vehicle hard. I am running it down a drag strip, beating on it, open throttle. I want most power I can get. So I want to make sure my engine doesn't get hot because, well, when it runs hot, it takes performance away and it's just not good for the engine. So that's the reason why I went with the 170 degree SPD thermostat. So the thermostat is right there. See that? It's right in there. The green marked housing right there. That's what this sits in. So I'm gonna go ahead, remove that, make a mess, change it out, put it back together. So first things first, I'm gonna open up my reservoir. You want to make sure you're doing this when your engine's not hot. Don't go out and run it and come home at 200 degrees engine temperature and try to do this, because this system will be pressurized. Things get hot, air expands, right? Heat expansion, all that. So this system will be pressurized. You open this up, you're gonna have hot coolant spraying out. So do this when it's cold. Also, it's safer to do it when it's cold because you're going to be breaking the line and there's going to be coolant spilling out, and you don't want to burn yourself with hot coolant. So make sure the engine's cold if you can. If not, then proceed at your own will. Anyways, moving forward, you can open up the system. Might need to remove my intake. I don't know. I'm going to try to weasel my way around it and pull those out so I don't have to do this. Remove all this stuff. I think I should be able to sneak through there though. Just a little sidebar here for you guys. This is an aftermarket intake and turbo inlet pipes. So I was able to manage my way in there with a ratchet and by hand without removing the intake or turbo inlet pipes. So if you do have a stock intake system, you might need to remove your intake or move your turbo inlet pipes out of the way, but with the AFE Momentum GT intake and the AMS turbo inlet pipes, you can manage your way in there to remove the bolts. All right, I'm gonna start off underneath the truck by removing this skid plate so we can make some room for our bucket to catch our coolant that falls down after breaking the line. So I'm gonna do that now. So you got one bolt on the back, the passenger side, one bolt in the back on the driver's side. Get these out of the way, just like that. And then I use a 16 mil to get those out. Maybe a little big, but I made it work. Good enough. It's close enough. Close enough is good enough. This one is an exact fit. This is 13 mil up front. Go ahead and get under this because it falls down. All right. Those are out. You should have 4. I only have 3. Don't know why, but it's just the way it is. My retaining clip that has a nut on the back side for the bolt is missing on this side. So if you're like me, you will only have 3 bolts up front, but if you are normal, you will have 4. So note of reference there. All right, now we made some room for our coolant to fall out and harm the environment. Where is that gonna fall? We may need to remove this one too. Fantastic. All right, yeah, we'll go ahead and remove that one. We still got 2 more. Actually, it looks like those bolts aren't supposed to come all the way out. Since there is slots behind there, that's why that sounded god-awful. We'll show you what I'm talking about. They designed it so it just slide forward and it catches the pan when you drop it down. So pretty reasonable to do that, but we have these 2 bolts right here. I'll go ahead and remove those next. All right, got my 10 mil for these 2 bolts in the back. 1 and 2. I'll just slide this plate forward. I retract my statement. Those slots are not there for that. They actually do have to come all the way off because the back of the plate is angled up. I mean, I guess you could make it work, but probably best just take them off. All right. Now we are off. Oh, gosh dang. It's a little muddy underneath here. Okay. All right. I wonder where we are going to be dripping. Probably right in here. So perfect, so it's not going to be a steady straight stream. It's going to be going all over the place. Alright, so we have our 8mm socket. I'm going to try to pull this thing off through here without having to manually wrench it off. It's probably not going to work. Go figure. Alright, we broke that loose. Spin it off now. And pray that I don't drop it. Okay, one is out. Got two more to go. Try to get you guys closer here. There we go. Second one is out. And we have our last one, which is hiding the back side here. May need to get a little extension for that one. Got a little extension here, so try to fit it back here. Break this guy loose. Of course, this can't be easy. One kind of sucks to get to. I'm going to grab a shorter extension. This one's just a little bit too long. Okay, I actually just ended up grabbing a deep well socket. That should be the perfect length to get this last bolt out. Yes. All right, that is number 3. Let's pull this back. And there goes our coolant. You can see our thermostat sticking out the housing. Gonna pluck it out. And there we go. So, as you can see, it doesn't exactly fall in a straight stream. Recommend getting a drip pan. But here we are. Here is our factory thermostat, Motorcraft, which is set to 195 degrees Fahrenheit. So, this device was designed to close at 195 degrees to allow coolant to then flow through the radiator. And it opens up at anything less than 195 degrees, which just keeps the coolant flowing in the engine to the water pump in circulation. So once it heats up enough, then it closes and allows it to flow through the radiator and cool the coolant down. So what happens with coolant is it basically absorbs the heat from the engine, because hot transfers to cold in physics. So during heat transformation, it transfers from hot to cold. So the heat from the engine is going into the coolant fluid and then running through circulation. So the coolant is taking the heat from the engine, absorbing it, and bringing it through circulation. And once that coolant is running through the engine and getting hotter and hotter, absorbing the heat, that thermostat will close and allow coolant to flow through the radiator and get cooled off. So this is what the factory one looks like. We are going to put a new gasket on our new one, which is supplied by SPD. I always want to call them SDP. I don't know why. I'll go ahead and do that now. My workbench is a nightmare right now. Okay, so you'll see there's a little center line that's cut out inside this gasket that fits the edge of the thermostat, and you'll just fit it into that groove. Just kind of pull it, and there we go. The new thermostat is assembled and ready to go. And I think just for fun, why don't we, I'm going to display how this works. So let's heat this up and see if it closes. We need to get to 195 degrees. Let's see the best way to do this. Maybe right there. Actually, make some room for you guys. This is better. Let's heat this up and watch it close. Look at that, guys. And we can see how temperature has had a mechanical reaction, which has closed this mechanical thermostat. Now this thermostat is at 195 degrees Fahrenheit or greater. I don't really know, but it's going to be pretty hot right now. I think I actually do have a... Look at that. And that's exactly how a thermostat works. We see that this has compressed, which allows coolant to flow through that channel right there to the radiator. And as temperature decreases, it will close. We'll take our thermostat or our device here. We are at 270, 60, depends, changing. So surface temperature is 350, okay, between 300 and 350 degrees and falling Fahrenheit. So we can see it is greater than 195, just like it's rated. which has allowed it to compress, to allow coolant to flow through. So yeah, kind of cool to see how that works. And then as it cools off, it should expand. Cool. All right, let's get the new one in and get this going. All right. Why that lighting is not great, but go ahead and get this plugged in. Sorry guys. All right, so the top end of it, or the spring side of the thermostat, will go towards the engine. So you'll see the face of it is what we just call the top. So where it says the temperature and SPD, that will be facing outside of the engine. Just make sure you put the spring side into the engine and it'll fit nice and flush in there. And we'll go ahead and put our housing back on with our 3 8mm bolts. Gonna get them started by hand. Top one started. Get our bottom one started. And get this hassle level one in this backside over here. Ah, shoot. Well, I have officially dropped the last bolt. I see it. I'm going to grab it. That doesn't happen very often. I was able to see it right away and get it. Okay. All right. Go ahead and get these tightened back up. guys seeing what I'm seeing. So we're just tightening up this bolt here, the top side. Really isn't a lot of room in here if you're lazy like me and you don't want to pull off intake piping. Okay. All right, 2 down, 1 to go. All right, our 3 bolts are tight. Housing is secured. All right, just gonna go through. All right, now we will go ahead, start it up, and we already got our cap off. So what needs to happen now is we need to look for leaks, of course. We don't want any leaks coming from there. We don't want to leak coolant. We need it. We got our cap off, and we're going to let the engine warm up, let it circulate the coolant. Since we broke it, and broke it, I mean removed the housing. All right, since we broke the housing away from the engine, that did allow for air to get in our system. So we need to run it, get the coolant circulating through, leave this open because we're gonna have to fill up our coolant that we lost. So we'll go ahead and do that now. added what I've estimated we've lost based on what's in the bucket. I may have added a little too much. We'll see how it ends up once we're done circulating and getting air through. I don't see any leaks right now, so that's good news. We are good and tight. Just gonna let it run for a little bit and I'll catch back with you guys. Well, we can see our thermostat has closed. We are at 78 degrees surface temperature, 76. And we can see it has closed. So went from compressed to non-compressed. So that's kind of how a thermostat works. So I cleaned up a little bit. Don't have any leaks. We are back on right at our max line right there. Right between min and max. So don't want to go over our max fill line. I wonder if we can see what our engine temperature is at. It's still very cold. Why? No one gauge isn't showing anything. Okay. So I'm gonna clean up a little bit and I'll catch up with you guys. Okay, so we let it ran for a little bit. You can see we're right on our mark here, just a little above the center line between max and min. So it's pretty close to where we want to be. So we let it run for a little bit. We let circulation get through. Hopefully we got all the air pockets out by letting it run and having this open to let the air out. I'm not sure if there's a better way. There probably is. But for now, we're going to put our cap back on. And we're going to take it for a test drive and watch the difference the thermostat makes and see if our engine runs cooler than before. All right, so we are cleaned up, ready for a test drive. All right. Go ahead, get her started. All right. So she's pretty cold right now. You can barely see the white bar on our cold and hot gauge. So in case you're wondering what this one is over here, because this also is cold and hot, this is our engine oil. There's a little gear with a thermostat or thermometer in the middle indicating that it's like gear oil. I don't know if that's what they were trying to get at. And then our thermometer symbol is on like little waves, which is showing us it's water. So our engine coolant temp on, according to our Edge CTS2, is at 136. We'll go ahead and drive around and see what its operating temperature is. All right, we are out here, we are running. You can see we have now hit 170 degrees and our thermostat should be opening up now and allowing coolant to flow in our radiator. Now previously this truck's operating temperature would be at about 200 to 225 was our range that we would be running at. So we'll see how much cooler we are operating at now with the changed thermostat. I'm gonna wait to get clear here. Okay, there we go. The radiator works with us moving through cold air in our environment, which comes through the radiator and absorbs the heat from the coolant running down the radiator and cools off the coolant. So it's exchanging heat from coolant to air. The faster we go and we get more air running through there, we can see our temperature went from 184 to 179. And you know, there are variables to consider. Outside temperature obviously is going to be a factor, but I mean, so far our operating temperature, we're staying less than 185. Previously we were at 215, so, and that's an average number, so we can see, you know, we're about 30 degrees cooler for an average operating temperature. I think I did that math right. 15 plus 15, 30. Yeah, so 30 degrees cooler on average so far. So yeah, our thermostat is doing its job. We are cooler, and the outside temperature is 48 degrees, so it is a little bit cooler of a day. But we are, I mean, we're not even in our 200s, and last time, you know, I would be at 215 average. So it looks like our new average is about 185. So it's definitely doing its job. It's made a difference. Our engine coolant is cooler, and that's going to help our engine stay cooler, and it's going to help us make reliable power, because you don't want your engine hot when you're running it hard. And you know, I run this truck hard. I take it off-roading, I take it to the drag strip, I tuned it, done a lot of performance mods, so it's definitely being pushed. So we want to make sure we help that change. There's always cause and effect when you do performance mods. We just want to make sure our engine's running cooler. Now it seems like we're at 190. That we've gone for a little bit. Let's get her running here. So that's pretty much going to do it for this video, guys. So thanks for watching. So I mean, just to sum it up, that we are running about, you know, 25 to 30 degrees cooler. Definitely made a difference, and we tested it. try not to hit that sign. We tested it, so it definitely made a difference. Oh, speed bump. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Really helps out the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.